I'm retiring at the end of this year.
Oh my God! Quick, get your cabs now. This is your last chance.
Breaking news.
Last chance.
The
for cabs.
McLaren commercial department love this interview. Don't
They've
do
got
that.
their
I can
hands
say
in
what
their
I
head.
want.
You can.
I can say whatever I want.
You
These
can.
are your
What are you going to
facts.
do, Harry?
Alternative.
Hello and welcome back to the Fast and the Curious with me, Betty Glover, and Christian Hewgill, our resident Formula One geek. We're also usually joined by Greg James, our team principal, but we are here at Silverstone very early in the morning and he's got a proper
Famously
adult...
busy of a morning, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a proper adult job. So he's joining us later. But welcome if you're new to the podcast. Hello. If you've been with us from the very start, then we like you. You're very cool. You've got good taste. We are a Formula One podcast, though, that debriefs and previews every Grand Prix. We also try and sort of decode more of the complicated bits of the sport with help from this guy standing next to me. And we speak to some of the biggest names from within the Formula One world. And that is why we're here today at Silverstone, because we are with the Constructors World Champions, McLaren. So we're going to be talking to Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri.
And Betty, we're back
We're back!
for season 3 of The Fast and the Curious. It is bitterly cold. It is a weekday morning. We're at Silverstone, the home of UK motorsport. And for those watching on YouTube, you will see behind us Beckett's, one of the most famous corners on the Formula One calendar. We're at the Escapade Hotel, which has these fancy, amazing rooms looking out across the circuit. It's brilliant.
It is very nice. We've had a very good breakfast this morning.
Oh,
as well,
we've had a
haven't we?
lovely breakfast.
Can't complain.
Betty was saying we're going to be with McLaren. It is a huge season for them. After what was an amazing season, they won the Constructors' Championship for the first time since 1998. And today, huge day, they wheeled their 2025 car out of the garage for the first ever time on what's often called a shakedown day or a media day or a filming day. They basically get 200 kilometres only to get the car out of the garage and check it works. That sounds a lot, and it's more than they've had in previous years.
It's not a lot.
It's not a lot. A lap of this place is 6 kilometres, so it's really not a lot at all.
Well, so coming up today on this episode, we are going to be talking to Lando Norris. Greg is going to be joining us. We're going to get Christian's views on what he thinks McLaren can achieve this season. But first, shall we get our first driver of the season on, Christian?
I think we should.
Oscar, welcome back to the Fast and the Curious podcast.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Oscar, we know you've been on before, so you're not exactly new to us. So I don't feel we need to explain this too much to you, but something amused us over the winter. Well, we've got this new email address, contact@fastcuriouspod.com. Before we'd even publicised it, we got a listener question. Our first question of the year. You're the first interview on the first episode of the season. It's a massive deal for us. So would you like to join in with celebrating the first question of the year?
Sure.
Can we just have a couple of we've got a couple of props for this, which Nicola's going to bring over. It's a big celebration for us on the Fast and the Curious. Thank you, Nicola.
Wow.
Can I have a party popper as well? That'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, we all get one.
I'm not sure my fingers are going to function to
No, I know.
open the party popper, but thank you.
There you go. Help yourself, Oscar. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our first question of the year. Oh, well done, Oscar. Ooh.
Ooh!
That was
I got
loud,
there.
wasn't it?
I got there in the end.
There we go. Betty, would you
Right.
like to read the first question of the year?
Yes.
Oh, I love the smell of fire.
I know, isn't that
Explosives.
so nice? Okay, so the first question is from Kevin. Hello, Kevin.
Kevin.
He says, hello, I was just wondering if Formula One drivers wear socks, and if so, are they a special type of sock?
We do wear socks, and they are special socks as well. They are fireproof socks. So they stop our feet from catching on fire for a certain amount of time.
Have you got the socks on now?
I don't know. I have very regular socks.
You're just
on.
wearing
That's a bit
regular
boring.
sports
Yeah.
socks there. Can you show us the socks? Are they just...
I can show you part of the socks. They're
There you go,
very
yeah.
They probably go
There
to
you go,
about
Kevin.
yay high.
Oscar's socks.
Yep.
Not his special socks.
Not my special socks.
But
That's
no.
you
okay.
do wear special socks in the car
Yep.
that stop you fireproof and all that sort of thing.
Yep. And I would say they're very thin,
Oh.
which you don't often associate with being fireproof, but they are.
I mean,
Also,
makes
I'm told
sense.
they are. So I've not had to test that one out myself.
Well, thanks, Kevin,
But
for
there you go.
that really good question.
And that was our first question of the year. And we can confirm Formula One drivers do wear socks, so that's good news. Right, Oscar, we'll see you next season. Thank you.
Thank you.
We should ask you, how was your winter? You seem to be quite cold here at Silverstone today. I suspect that means you've been in Australia.
Yes, I went back to Australia for about a month, so that was really nice. And I mean, even if I hadn't gone back to Australia, I'd still be freezing today. Like, it is cold. It's probably
It is.
2 degrees at the moment. So, yeah, I'd be cold no matter what. But it was nice to go back to Australia, see all my family, see my friends, enjoy a month of summer instead of winter. So that was a really nice time. So yeah, it was nice to kind of reflect on last season and the good times from last season, and then shift on to this year and how we're going to go even better.
You had so many good times last season, but it must be really nice to just sort of take a step away and just switch off mentally and just sort of decompress, because it must have been so intense for you.
Yeah, it was a long season, and I think especially towards the end, it was obviously a lot going on in terms of the Constructors Championships. There was a lot at stake, and yeah, especially the last triple header. We had Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, and then the postseason test, with a little trip to Bahrain in the middle of that as well. So it was a busy 4 weeks really. So I think everyone was looking forward to a break just from that. But then you add in the rest of the races through the year, and it was a long season. But it's always nice to go into the break with the title of being champions. So
It's not half bad, that, to be honest.
It was nice, but I think for me, I think I was probably doing nothing for about 2 weeks, and then already the want and the itch of going racing again was already back. So it doesn't take long.
Now, we spoke to you this time last year where Greg James was here. He apologises for not being able to make it. We're obviously recording this interview in the morning. Greg's busy in the mornings. He'll be here later. Greg created quite a social media viral moment. Do you remember this? Because he, in context of a conversation, but then this was taken out of context on the internet, he said, because we were talking about certain drivers last season at a team, oh, wouldn't it be amazing if that driver won?
Wouldn't it be incredible if Lewis Hamilton won this year at Mercedes?
No, it would not be incredible.
No.
What are you
but
talking about?
in terms of
It's a brave
in
thing
terms
to
of
say in a
in terms of
McLaren
the
interview,
story,
isn't it?
In terms of the story.
Yeah.
I think Oscar Piastri winning first world championship is a much
that's
better
going to
story.
happen.
That would
We've got
be
loads
epic.
of time. He's 40.
Greg's not here, so we shouldn't have any issues like that this season. But he has sent us this question, which he's texted us, and he said, hi, Oscar, sorry I can't make it. Wouldn't it be great if Lewis Hamilton won this season? Love, Greg.
I mean, no, it would not.
It wouldn't.
It would still be the same answer as last
A
season.
year on, no different there.
Yeah, although I would say if I wasn't racing in F1, seeing Lewis Hamilton win a world championship with Ferrari would be pretty cool.
Quite iconic.
Would be if I wasn't racing
And I
against
think
him.
he was getting at last season would be in his last season at Mercedes again, his first
Yes.
story in the sport. But people got very cross on the internet thinking you were very cross with us. But you're back suggesting that you weren't that cross with us, which
No.
is nice. Okay, that's good.
But talking about Ferrari, they are one of the favourites to win constructors and drivers, but McLaren are the other favourites. How does that feel? Do you feel like, because obviously this is your third season now in Formula One, does it feel different? Do you feel like that pressure is just like a little bit more intense?
I don't really think the pressure is much more intense, because I think we kind of hoped last year we would be able to challenge for at least wins. I think the championship was probably unexpected, but to try and challenge for at least wins, and we were able to do that from reasonably early on in the season, which was nice. I think this year the big thing is just the confidence that I think we've gained in the last 12 months. It's one thing making a race car that's able to give you the opportunity to take wins, but then you have to actually take that opportunity. And I think we learned a lot as a team on how to fight at the front again. I got my first win in F1. Lando got his first win in F1. So I think just across the board, we kind of ticked a lot of boxes as a team.
bit delayed, but I
Yeah.
felt like I had to take that
Thank
opportunity.
you.
Moved on.
Thank you.
That was for your first win there, Oscar. Well done.
Thank you. So I think we gained a lot of experience and confidence through last season, and this year, yes, of course, people will be expecting us to keep fighting at the front, but we also expect that, and we're going to do the best job we can. But I think we now have the knowledge that if we have a car that's capable, we can pull it off, and not just winning races, but winning championships.
You'd quite like to win the World Championship, I'm guessing. Formula One drivers tend to be really keen on doing that. Lando would quite like to win the World Championship. The team's won the Constructors World Championship. Now it would quite like to win the Drivers' Championship. So how does it work with both of you quite fancying that title?
Well, I think the big message is if either one of us can't win the World Championship, we still want to be able to finish second. And I think that's kind of the mentality we've had for our whole time together. You know, even when we were towards the back of the grid, we worked very hard together to try and bring the team back to the front, and you know, ideally make it a race between just us two for first and second. I think we showed last year and the year before that we're very, very capable of racing each other and being respectful and keeping it clean. But yes, only one of us can win, and of course I want to make sure that's me. Lando's going to make sure that's him. So. Of course, we'll always do the right thing for the team, but I think we're now in a position where, you know, hopefully we can start the season strong, and we are going to be racing each other and trying to win, you know, of course, the Constructors' Championship, but ultimately the Drivers' Championship too. So I think we've proven enough times now that we can do both and not, you know, hinder one championship for the other. So I'm excited to see what we can do this year.
Have you two spoken about that?
No, I don't think we will speak about that either, because I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Just be awkward as well,
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's a
it?
bit
Yeah.
awkward.
Do you want to win the World Championship? Yes.
No, mate.
Do you want to win the World
No,
Championship?
mate. I thought I'd just
Yes.
let you win it.
No,
Yeah.
all right. You do it this year, and
Yeah.
then next year.
All flip-flop. All tonight.
Yeah, exactly. If only it was that easy.
But you personally, like, I feel like you've come such a long way, because we say this all the time on our pod, but you were the first driver that we ever interviewed when we started this podcast up 3 years ago, and you, like, was making your debut in Formula One, and it was all quite exciting. And now I feel like you're sort of a completely different person in the way that you've matured and the way that you answer questions and the way that you see yourself racing. Do you notice that change as well? Do you feel different?
I would say yes. I think, you know, with experience in anything, you just get more comfortable. And I think, you know, also when you start to have some performances and results to, you know, kind of add to your credibility, it helps you become more comfortable and stuff like that as well, because there's no point talking a big game if you then can't back it up, or, you know, there's no point making yourself look silly when you're not getting the results. So I think, you know, now that I've had some good results on the board, it's, you know, I feel more comfortable. I also know the team better. I know you guys better. So everything is just...
That's the main thing.
Yeah. So everything
do you know
is
what? We'll
just...
take full credit. When you
Yeah.
when you win Drivers' Championship, it's because you know us.
Very comfortable on the Fast and
Yeah.
the Curious now, so that really helps going into a weekend.
Yes. But I think just in general, you know, everything is much more
No.
comfortable. Everything feels much more normal. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still the coolest thing ever that I get to do this as my job. But it feels much more normal. And I think, especially from, you know, my first season, going into my first season, there's just the much bigger sense of, you know, these are the things that happened in the last 2 years that went well, that didn't go well, and you just have much better references, and ultimately the things that you work on become much more specific. So, yeah, everything just feels a bit more natural, a bit more comfortable, and yeah, everything just feels more normal.
What does a successful season for Oscar Piastri look like in 2025?
I always try to keep the results out of it, because, you know, ultimately if we've got the fastest car for the season, then I want to be world champion. If we don't, then, you know, I would still like to be a world champion, but it might not be realistic.
Harder.
Exactly. So I think for me, it's kind of more about working on the opportunities that I feel like I have to improve myself as a driver. And I think if I can work on those, then that would be a successful year for me. Of course, I would love to have as many wins as possible and win the championship, but I think I will, know within myself if I've been able to achieve the things I wanted to work on, and if that nets out a win or a championship, then that's of course the goal and the bonus on top of that. But I think I'd be happy if I left this season knowing that I had improved from last year, and I definitely think there's room to grow.
You talk about improvements. What can you do to improve as a driver?
I think there's always things you can do as a driver, but I think for me, last year, I feel like I did a lot of things well, especially in the races, and I think that was a good improvement from my first season in F1. But I often made things a little bit too difficult for myself on a Saturday in qualifying, and I think we've worked very hard in how we tackle that and how we improve that. So I think that's probably the biggest thing, is just being able to put my best foot forward every weekend, because I think there was a lot of good weekends, but some weekends where I needed to step up a bit more, and those are the kind of days that win you championships and help you be more consistent. So that's probably the biggest thing. But again, it's also important to acknowledge the things that you did well last year, and I think I did do a lot of things well. It's just when you're fighting at the front of F1, there's quite a few people that are good at doing everything well. So
there is.
It's about taking it to that next level.
Just finally, before we let you go, you're Australian, famously. First race of the season this year, Australian Grand Prix. How much are you looking forward to that? Does it change anything for you, that being the first race of the season? Because it used to be always the case back in the day when I was a kid, when this was all fields. But now, slightly unusual.
It's nice being back as the first race. As a kid growing up, it was always the first race for me. So it's nice that it's going back to the season opener. I'm kind of glad that it wasn't the season opener in my first season, because first F1 race, first home race, that could have been a little overwhelming and intense. But no, I'm excited to go back as the first race. And Melbourne's going to be an amazing event no matter where you put it. So I'm excited, but to have it as the opener and that sense of anticipation, that's going to be really special.
And just finally, how's your mum?
She's very good.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you.
Social media legend.
Yeah.
She's very good.
We love her.
And will Nan be making any more? What were they after?
Rumbles.
Thank you. Will they be
Rumbles and Lamingtons.
That's it. Lamingtons.
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 I haven't checked. I have had some in the off season just to quality test them, just to make sure that
Quality control
just to make sure that they're still good. I can confirm they are, but I am sure they will probably be making a reappearance.
Can you send us some?
Maybe. I
I'm gonna
can
hold you
try.
to
I'm not sure how well they'll keep flying across the world, but I'll try.
Give it a go.
Oscar, we always like to sort of do a bit of behind the scenes in this podcast. Little do people know, there are two Sophies at McLaren. They are both stood behind the camera now, and they are giving us signals that you need to leave. That's how it works. Yes.
Stop talking about the Lamingtons.
You need to stop talking about Lamingtons and go with the Sophies, with various Sophies. But we appreciate you coming on. And as Betty says, you will always have a special place in this podcast's heart for being our first ever interview. And we've loved following your journey. We're excited to do it more this season.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me back again.
And can't wait for you to win the drivers.
Thank you.
No pressure.
No pressure. Thanks.
Greg!
Oh, hey!
Thanks for joining us.
I am so happy to see you both. I'm so excited to be here. We are on the bridge, on the home straight. Not call it the home straight, do they?
The start-finish
Start finish. Sorry, thought we were at Aintree for a second. No, it's a bit early for Formula 1. It's February. This is ridiculous.
Oh, God.
But so we were here a few months ago watching Lewis Hamilton win the Grand Prix underneath our feet. This is the start-finish straight at Silverstone. And I'm so happy that we're all back and the episodes are back on and the podcast is back. And
We're back.
Hey! So, what did I miss? Oscar?
Oscar was on brilliant form, wasn't he?
Oh, we loved Oscar. He was on cold form, but brilliant form.
Cool. Yeah, you could tell that he was really struggling with the weather, with the adjustment from coming back from Australia. But the thing that I noticed with Oscar is that he just looked so determined.
Yeah.
And it was the way he was speaking. I was like, ooh, this is going to be good.
It was 2 years pretty much to the day when we first met him.
I know.
Not one of our first ever recorded interview, and look at him now.
Look at him go. He's determined. He's said to us outright he wants to win the drivers. Obviously win the constructors as well. So I'm buzzing. But so we've spoken to Oscar, but I think this is probably a good moment to think about and talk about what we're expecting from McLaren as a whole for this coming season.
Well, you've been here today. What's the mood on campus?
I think it's a mood of confidence, and it's funny because in previous years you've come to a shakedown like this and there's been an air of McLaren of, we want to improve, we want to be on our journey forward. Last year it was, we think we can get on the podium, we think we can win races. It feels like not just McLaren themselves, but it feels to me like the Formula One world expects McLaren to be right up there. That might come across as blindingly obvious because they won the Constructors World Championship last year. But if you'd had gone back to the start of last season, pretty much any time before Miami, you'd have never expected McLaren to win the Constructors' Championship, maybe the odd race. So it's going to be interesting with McLaren this year. How do they deal with being a favourite again? For the first time in decades, for being like, we're expecting McLaren to be right at the top. But they seem confident. I think Formula One expects McLaren to be right at the very front, and I think McLaren expect McLaren to be right at the very front.
The snack game is better than it was last year.
Yes.
Definitely.
The food itself is better than it was last year.
I don't know if that's important, but it's worth noting.
I think it's a sign, Greg.
We've just had a lunch of champions, I would suggest.
Yeah.
It was a confident lunch. It was a lunch that said, we're here, we're ready. It was a lunch that said vegetarian option, which all three of us went for.
It was a confident lasagna.
It was a moussaka.
Sorry, a confident moussaka. So, a moussaka is a confident lasagna, I'd argue.
Fundamentally speaking, yes.
So it was a confident lasagna, aka a moussaka, but also they've clearly spent the money on chocolate.
There was a good chocolate selection as well.
Of unlimited Snickers, unlimited
Aero.
mint Aeros.
And M&M's as well.
This team are not around.
No.
Okay, I'm just going to say that now.
Moving away from chocolate and back to Formula One racing, we know Oscar is going to look to level up again this year. Last year, he really did level up. He became that promising rookie who still sometimes struggled with tyres and things like that to a race winner. He's going to look to level up again to show that race winning form more consistently. But Lando Norris is interesting as well because there were times, not all the time last year, but there were times where he looked ready to win a world championship, particularly towards the end of the season. That dynamic between the two is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, the dynamic between the two is ridiculously interesting. But also with Lando, the whole sort of rhetoric around him last season was, does he have like the mindset to be a winner? And now I think he probably does.
Oh, I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he does. I think he's ready. I think McLaren are ready. But shall we find out that for a fact by asking the man himself?
I think so, yeah.
I think it should be our opening question to him.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Did you have
Are
the
you
moussaka?
ready? I'm ready. Cheryl Cole references there. I'm ready. You look ready. You said that with some determination. I'm ready.
Whenever you're ready. I'm ready. Okay. Whenever you're ready. I'm ready. You said that with some determination. I'm ready.
The only one without gloves on. You're all like...
Oh,
Hey! This interview is so toxic already. Lando just said this is horrible. You just called us all
great. I've not had someone say that in a long time.
Yeah,
It's very old
that
school.
was
You
really
just get cancelled
2012,
immediately,
wasn't
don't
it?
you?
Yeah, sorry.
yeah,
don't
we're
great. I
we're
felt like I was-
cancelling you, Betty.
Yeah,
I felt like I was
don't
living my
cancel
life again.
It was a big throwback,
Anyway.
that, wasn't it?
Anyway.
It's like
right.
prison nowadays, isn't it?
It's a rolling start.
Was that
It's
the
a rolling
start?
start. It's a rolling start to the interview.
I hope
Lando,
they didn't
welcome
get it.
back to the Fast and the
Thank you.
Curious.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you guys.
It's very, very nice to see you. You were just about to launch in to a story involving Craig David, and I stopped you because
Yeah,
I
you
want to hear
did.
it on the microphone. Where'd you bump into Craig?
Where did I bump it? I got getting off the plane.
Oh yeah.
I did my New Year in Dubai, and he was going there as well. So
Yeah, nice.
first time. I know he performed here, didn't he? In
did,
Silverstone
yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
I think it was pouring with rain when he was doing it.
Of
But
course
I
it
just
was.
bumped into him, yeah, and he was a really, really nice guy. So,
He is nice.
we
Is
got
he a Formula One
talking
fan?
a little bit. I mean, he's into it. I don't think he's not been to many races.
Yeah.
I'm sure he said he would love to come to another race, but it's he's busy as well, you know. So
Do you know what? He's a very kind man, very generous man.
he was. I mean, he was taking
he got way more attention than I did on the plane.
Did he?
I had like a hoodie and everything, so I was hiding.
Whereas
Did
Craig
he
is.
He was taking pictures with everyone. I was like, what a guy.
Well,
Did
Craig
he
is
know
always.
who you are? Sorry.
Well, I didn't like say, hi, I'm Lando. I kind of just said,
Hello, I'm Formula One
we
driver.
kind of
Lando
like, I
Norris.
walked past him. I'm like a speedy walker off the plane, you
Yeah.
know. Like I'm impatient. I don't want
Speedy
to
border.
just get stuck behind people. So I was kind of like going past him a bit, and then we're kind of just walking at the same pace. Then I felt awkward to not say anything, so I was just like, "See you here for New Year, are you?" And then I think it naturally flowed into the fact that I think he knew me and I knew him and that
Nice.
kind of thing. And the guy he was with, I think his manager or something, I suddenly forgot the name, was from down near Somerset.
Nice.
So he was a Somerset guy. So
Was that a little Somerset accent there?
that was
Somerset.
Somerset, yeah.
It's a nice thing though. That's the famous person code. So Craig David's seen you and he's gone, "Yeah, famous," and you've gone. "Yeah,
And then,
famous."
yeah,
It's
just
Lando, yeah.
normal
Thing
chat.
is, he's a very generous man. He don't be surprised if he sends you something
Really?
because he sent
Well,
me.
you spoilt it now.
He sent me a candle once.
A candle.
Also, he sent me an equalizer.
Smelling of
for
what,
my
him?
Audio set up at home, and a huge oversized bar of dairy milk.
Oh, wow, that's so
So
cool.
just,
Lovely.
that's coming your way.
And what did Lando said? What did the candle
Now
smell
that
like?
now you said
It's
the
a-
expectation, I'm going to take a look. Where is it, mate?
The candle
Yeah.
is a huge one. It's like a bucket. It's a diptyque candle.
Oh my
It was-
God,
it-
they
we-
are so expensive.
I googled it. It's about 300 quid.
Yeah, he makes a good amount
Yeah.
of money, though. You know.
Yeah, he's not short of a few quid, is he?
Yeah.
I mentioned
You
it
can
on,
get a
I-
candle,
I
you
mentioned it
know.
on the radio, and all the listeners think it's my sex candle.
Oh, I
Because
heard
I
this
say
your
candle.
sex candle.
We
Yeah.
like the Craig David. Yeah.
Liked the Craig
so.
David.
I think we should talk about Formula One.
Yeah,
I don't mind not talking
Get
about
onto
it.
5
But
minutes
you've
on
done a
Craig
lot. You've done a
David.
boring day
Yeah,
of talking
yeah.
about it, haven't you?
I'm fed up already of
Right,
Formula
okay.
One. It's my first day.
You have been out though in the car because we've
I have
been
been.
hearing you. Did
Yeah.
you like it? Did it feel good?
I mean, the conditions aren't great. It's very cold and it's like wet, but not that wet, and it's not
Yeah.
dry. So I think it's just about dryish now. So Oscar's going out and probably getting some laps in the dry. But it felt normal, which is a good step because we changed quite a few things on the car. There's a lot of guys here nervous and girls here nervous that things can go wrong. So when you kind of go out and you're like, yeah, it was fine. There's a lot of relief faces, you know. So it feels good to be back in the car. This is, for me, this is not the enjoyment. The enjoyment is, you know, getting to the race weekend and like, okay, what can we do? This is like the slightly less enjoyable part of it. But
Not-
it's
not
still,
this bit though,
it's still,
Lando.
oh, this is
And
the
we're
stuff
happy to share
I've
it
been
with you.
excited to come back here, you know, and talk to you guys. So.
Your highlight of your year is annually being on the Fast and
Absolutely.
Furious in front of a truck. Second year in a row we've done it.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know why are we outside?
That is a great question.
Well, largely for lighting reasons. It's quite dark in there, I'll be honest with you, Greg.
It's
Right.
not actually sunshine and blue
It's
skies.
better
out
than in
here.
the garage, trust me. And that would be next to that car that Oscar Piastri's driving. Famously loud, these cars, which isn't good
Very
for
loud.
podcasting.
Not
True.
as loud as I used to be.
That's true.
Bring back the V10. Not as loud as I used to be.
That is true. That
Am I right?
I
You
rate
are
that.
right, Greg, yes.
That's normally me.
That's you. It's you in the
I do
comments.
that. Bring my
not quite as
V12,
piratey.
to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring back the V12.
Yeah.
Oh, it's way better. It used to be way louder, didn't it?
They did used to be way louder, yeah, when
did, yeah.
we were in the grandstands.
But now when you're talking to someone, these are still quite loud. And you're like, God, I wish they'd shut up
But
sometimes.
they were ear piercing. They
Yeah.
were too loud for
You could hear
a
it
human
from miles
ear.
and miles away.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Do you wear earplugs
We
when
do,
you
yeah.
drive? Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say. Otherwise.
That's how I talk to my team.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
put a cup next to my ear, do I?
Yeah, of course.
Other than seeing Craig David, what was the winter like for you?
That was it. I peaked.
I mean, that was the highlight. We know that.
I wintered with Craig David.
Yeah. We went sunbathing, and no, that was it. I just had some nice time with my friends. I did my little Finland trip, my yearly Finland trip, which is my getaway from people.
Mm.
You know, over the years, I've learned more and more I don't like people.
Oh.
No, I
Yeah.
sympathise with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Very
I love
few.
being on my own.
Very few.
You're sounding
yeah.
like a 60-year-old man.
I feel it sometimes. I did
F1
gym the other
ages you.
day and I'm still broken.
Yeah.
So I feel 60 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All my algorithm clearly knows what I want. It sort of knows me better than I know myself. I just see videos of you shopping the whole time.
Shopping.
Yeah, just always shopping.
All you do is
There
shop.
was so
Yeah.
many, I don't know why, but there's always people. That's probably where I get papped,
Yeah.
photoed the most is
Yeah.
shopping. But you know the weird one is when they're filming me, but they don't ask for the photo.
Mm.
And then I
Yeah.
see it, I'm like, that guy was filming me.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
weird.
say hi.
I said that thing when I was near him, and thank God he didn't hear that.
What do you buy though?
Food.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah.
not
this-
clothes then.
I was going to ask this.
No, it was not clothes shopping so much, but normally food.
Nice food shopping.
Supermarkets. Finland, every day I went in, there was more people there.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, because they know they cottoned on to the fact that you were in there.
There's only like 10 people that live there, but yeah.
So it is all clothes shopping and not... Sorry, it is all food shopping and not clothes shopping then, because I'm increasingly in my life can't be bothered with clothes shopping.
No, I do it
Never
online.
can tell.
I do it
Yeah.
online,
Rude.
The other thing that is all over the internet, by the way, is your haircut.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Have you still got a mullet? Is that
half
a
my-
mullet?
yeah.
Half, yeah.
I can go more if I want.
It's not an aggressive
Just
mullet.
teasing.
It's a middle way mullet.
Just teasing. It is a teasing mullet,
It's
isn't
a
it?
modest
teasing mullet.
Because all the mullet fans, all the sort of Paul Mescal mullet
Yeah,
fans
then
are
they go like, oh, I could do better than that.
yeah.
I could do better. I just.
Do you want to?
I just didn't know what to do this year. I was probably more worried about that than starting the season. You know. Do I want to go short? Do I want to mullet it again? Do I want to? But a lot of people like this kind of longer mullet look. So
Yeah, I like it. Long hair's good hair.
There's been changes in the off-season. Pierre Gasly's lost all his hair. Jack Doohan's lost all his hair. I don't know whether that's just an Alpine thing. Maybe they need to weight save again, like this time last year. Who knows? But
no comment. I don't know why.
No, but is there no comment? Is that a thing for a driver in the new Formula One season? Are you actively thinking not just new cars, but new image, new haircut?
Depends what the reasons are.
Like what kind of
do
reasons?
they do it for weight or
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's-
But I got a head full of hair, you know, so
Well,
there's no reason to shave it.
Was that Pierre's thing? Was there a bit of work gone on there?
I have no idea.
But it worked though.
Ask him yourself.
I wondered if it's post. I wondered if he came on the podcast. I wondered if it's like, when people have the, get the hairline thing.
He's having a
done.
transplant.
I don't know. I'm
Don't be throwing
speculating.
around that sort of
No,
stuff.
you can't accuse
I
people
feel
of
like
that.
we can't be
You
talking
can't
about
accuse
this.
Gasly of going to Turkey. Not just for the race.
I'm speculating.
While he's out there.
All I can do is ask the question.
I don't
Wow.
know.
Yeah?
I don't know.
All I can do is ask the question.
Wow,
Who's that then?
Beautiful.
Who do you think that
I'm going up there later.
Are
you?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
do
helicopter.
what?
I have to
flying by.
comment on Oscar's lap.
Really?
Maybe I can't say that on this. But
I know what I wanted to ask you about. Speaking of aviation, I've just been hanging out with the Red Arrows.
Oh,
Right, so I
yeah.
had a day sort of hanging out, their
Yes.
debriefs and all that. And
my
you
boys.
you flew in what? Your boys, they were talking so much about you because they know that I like Formula One. They knew that I knew you, and they were like, "Oh my God, we had Lando and Will here."
yeah.
Talk us through what it was like going up in the Red
That was
Arrow.
cool. That was what was it? Abu Dhabi, I think. That was sick. I would never volunteer to do. I would never kind of actually try and pursue it because I'm scared of heights, and I would just never.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of guy. I would never go. I want to go do this or do that. Maybe when I'm a bit older. I'm 60 already, so. But it was the opportunity came.
For your 70th.
And I feel like it was one you can't say no to.
Yeah.
It, can you? It was one like you have to do. Not many people are in the world get to do that kind of thing, so I made the most of it, and it was pretty sick. And I got to fly it. They let go,
Nuts.
God, you
and then
actually-
you're flying it.
Yeah, because
So-
you sit behind. Normally they have an engineer behind them,
yeah.
and they have the sort of dual controls basically. Like
But they tell you you're in control and I'm in control.
yeah,
Ah.
very cool.
Yeah,
Because it was really interesting, sort of being lucky enough to walk around a paddock, being
Yeah.
lucky enough to chat to some of your engineers and the rest of it, and then to see the Red Arrows people. Very similar attention to detail.
Yes.
Very similar sort of precision levels of skill. I found you must have found that quite
Yeah,
interesting.
we've overlapped quite a bit.
Mm.
We talk a lot, I think, between teams, say from the Red Arrows and our side, from like a mentality point of view. How do you communicate? How do you do all those things? So, I mean, Formula One, you try and maximize every area possible. It's not just about having a good car
Yeah.
or a great driver. Every single step needs to be to the highest levels. That includes communication and how you talk to one another, how do you motivate one another. And a lot of the stuff that we use nowadays is stuff that's come from the Red Arrows guys or
Right.
Army guys, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh.
But
team
also-
bonding stuff.
Yeah, the team. I thought the team aspect was so interesting. When they're doing a debrief, they don't refer to the guys as their names. They're like, "Red One, you're a little bit loose on the
Yeah.
old roll there," or whatever. I think that was quite
Yeah,
cool.
I got nicknames for all my guys.
I
but
was
they
going
don't
to say,
like
have
Do
you
you?
got nicknames?
What's Will's
They're
nickname?
not good.
Go
I
on.
can't repeat.
Can
them.
it be said on air?
Will. Yeah.
No, it's just Will, I think.
Have you got a nickname? Are you Papaya 4?
No. No, I'm not.
No?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. Sometimes I need to listen in and see how they communicate about me. You know?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
believe me,
I
I
might
know
sell a
that.
little recording device, plug a little USB in and record them.
Speaking of your team, you guys, you've been around Formula One a little while now, but I don't think you've ever gone into a season like this before thinking, might have a chance here.
I haven't.
How different does
You
that
don't
feel?
need to think that. You know that.
I know that.
Yeah.
But listen, car was great end of last season. Won the
It was.
Constructors Championship. You must have thought about it, thinking, could be the year.
Could be the year.
This is Oscar backing up behind us. Just excuse that.
Normal. It is. Like, it's the first season. We've not started the season yet, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. But we've not started the season well, ever. I think what felt like the best start ever was my first year in Formula One, because no matter where I finished, it felt great. But every year there's almost been more and more expectation for us to then do a better job and then do a better job. And we've just never been able to do it until really the last couple of years. You know, we took some steps forward, and last year was the year. So this is the first one we're coming in like we've done it now. Now there is the pressure and there's the expectation of you've done it, now you have to start it. And that's our target. But it's difficult. Everyone's trying to improve and make as many changes and everything as possible. But I think we are confident that we've figured out a lot of stuff, and we definitely want to start how we ended.
How do you handle that level of pressure? Because this is the most pressurised you've probably been, maybe.
Yeah, I would say it is. And I think I know it because, yeah, I mean, I just did the media session and they're like, oh, the bookies have you at the best odds and stuff like that, which is great. And I hope people make a load of money off of me as long as they give me a car. But there is the pressure and the nerves that come with that. And everyone's going to feel it. That's the thing, you know. I will feel it. But all my mechanics, all the team, that's normal. That's how humans work, you know. As soon as there's expectation and nerves. But it's you slowly learn to work with it. And that's the normality of Formula One. That every year, you know, there's pressure and nerves and all those things. And I think last year was a great year because there was now I'm on pole quite a bit. How do I deal with those things? Now I'm leading the race. How do I deal with those things? And I kind of experienced a little bit of everything last year. Apart from leading the championship, that's something I've still not ever done. But, you know, I raced against Max and I came out on top sometimes. He came out behind sometimes and those types of things. So I learned a lot last year, and I think last year set me up very nicely to come into this year and actually be very calm. I know there's a lot more pressure on me and, like, everyone's like, now he's got to do it. But I'm very relaxed and calm, and I feel the most relaxed I've ever done, but in a good way, and
you really seem
in a ready way.
That's so nice. I mean, we were talking quite a bit around at the end of the season about getting used to winning.
Yeah.
And you know what that feels like now. And so we were all sitting there as Lando fans in that last race being like, just hold on. But you were the calmest one out of everybody in the world. You sort of knew what you were doing.
No, I when you're in the car, like, you almost don't have time to think of these things. Yeah, you have time, because I would go down the straight, you know, and I would just start looking around and singing stuff. But you almost just don't think of those types of things. Oh God, now I got to do this, and But like after the race, I didn't know if I finished second, we wouldn't have won the championship. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that, but probably a good thing.
We all knew that.
Yeah, everyone else knew that but me. So, you know, I still get nervous and all these things, but for me, you kind of learn how to use those nerves and just make you excited and think of the right things. And if you think of nerves as in like pressure, and you think of it in the bad way, you'll make mistakes. Like, I've had that time. I got a bit of experience from it now, but not everything. And you're always going to learn every year how to deal with things better, how to use things better. And nerves and pressure are one of those things that can attack you, and just knowing how to use it in the right way, or how to let it pass your mind is part of being an athlete or whatever in any sport, where you have it, that you have to turn it into something positive in a way.
Have you thought a lot about winning the Drivers' Championship? No. Really?
No, I haven't.
I think you're lying.
No, I'm really not.
You must have.
Calling me a liar?
I think you're lying.
No, I'm not even.
Betty, you started recording my. You're now calling him a liar.
No, we're cutting.
Disaster.
Sorry,
true.
we're
That is
cutting
true.
that out.
That's not very nice.
That line.
We're not.
Really
leave
though,
it in.
I'm quite surprised.
I've not even thought of it yet.
Well, it's good because you got to take. We let us think about it. We're excited for you.
Yeah,
we're thinking about it.
And we just look forward to more wins. I'll never forget that.
But when you say it, I think of it. But I'm not going around every day like,
Let's stop
can't wait.
Let's stop talking about it then.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of lunch.
What are you
You think about lunch?
Or
It's been
dinner.
8 for lunch. Have you not had your lunch yet?
Hey, the moussaka, fantastic.
Oh, so
In there.
good.
Yeah, you liked it?
Yeah, it was really
It
good.
was good.
Yeah.
Did you have it?
I had one and two of the sandwiches, and you're only allowed one. So I think it's 2 guys in there with no food at the moment.
We're being wrapped up because I'm talking about Musaka.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. That's showbiz.
See?
Have you got one more killer question?
I wouldn't say
Oh,
killer
here it
question.
comes. Here it
All I was going to
comes.
say is, you were talking about the wins earlier.
Yeah.
There were some weekends last year, like Zandvoort, like Abu Dhabi, where you looked so in control. And it was like, oh, this is someone that looks properly ready to fight for a world championship. And because you were right up there, that scrutiny level, I thought, looking from the outside, went up last year.
Sure.
And there were some weekends where you were scrutinised more and people were harsh on you in some ways, for weekends where it went wrong as such or where it didn't quite go as well as you'd like it to.
Yeah.
How difficult was that to deal with at the time, that jump in pressure of scrutiny? And have you reflected on that much over the winter?
Yeah. I mean, rightly so. Like, I'm all up for people having their own opinions and saying, what happens if you did this? Should you have done that? Yeah. I think the only thing that I don't respect, like I respect all those things, and a lot of this people's jobs to kind of comment to these things and so forth. The only thing you don't respect is like people who think they know better when they most likely don't, because they weren't in that situation, they're not living that moment, and just false stuff that's just, you're like, how the hell has someone come up with something?
There's a lot of conspiracy theories in this
There's a
sport
lot,
nowadays.
but people don't call it conspiracy theories now. They just call it their facts.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you could. It's my personal fact.
Yeah. It's actually
that's not how it
total rubbish.
works. That's not the definition of
Yeah.
the fact. So it's you learn how to deal with these things, and that's something I probably was affected by a lot more before. I think last year and I've been more and more just. You just got to live with it and roll with it. The fact that people are criticizing you or supporting you. Of course, you always are much happier about those supporters. But I know I'm going to get criticized. I criticize myself all the time. I want my team to criticize me. And the thing I probably almost hate the most in the world is people who try to make me feel good and do it in the wrong way. I prefer the criticism than like a fake happiness, let's say. And that's just, again, my way of doing things. I feel like everyone's just so stuck with, you have to do this, everyone does this is the way you have to do it. When none of it's true. It's just finding your own way of living, your own way of thinking, your own way of talking, all of these things. There is never really a correct way and a wrong way of doing a lot of things. But people think too much of the time that there is. So, you just find your own way of doing it. And I feel like that's what I kind of clicked last year, halfway through, 3/4 of the way through with, okay, no, I just crack on with doing my own thing and focus on myself, and that seemed to work. So that's how I'll go into this year. But I know I'm going to make mistakes, and I know I'm going to not have perfect race and those types of things, the same as any athlete or whatever. But I don't mind what people say, to be honest, because I'm the first to criticize myself. I'm also the first to be honest and say, yeah, I did a job today, or I messed this up, or I did that wrong. I'll happily admit it, maybe not happily, but I'll always admit it, and I'll always be honest with these things. So, yeah, it's just life nowadays. People love to criticize, but again, turning that into something that's positive, where you want to go prove them wrong, and makes you work that little bit harder is the main thing.
Very mature outlook. It's because
Such a mature outlook.
Like
60
a
years old,
60-year-old man, yeah.
Also, I would say that the majority of people enjoy watching you have fun while you're driving.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
People love watching you drive.
People
But
love
you can't have
watching
too much.
Lando.
But this thing, you can't have too much fun, because you're not taking it seriously.
No, you have to have more fun. This is it.
No, more
You've
fun.
chosen to do this as your job. It's the
Yeah.
maddest sport in the world.
No, I
It's
know.
fun, right? So that's,
I know.
that's where our angle is always, this is fun.
And I'll retire in a couple of years.
Great to know.
Don't say that.
You can't
No,
say
you
that.
won't.
Now you'll be asked about that 50,000
Another headline.
times like Max.
Another headline.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll
Yeah.
sell more caps this year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
them while you
Yeah.
can.
Get them while you can, yeah.
I'm retiring at the end of this year.
Oh my God. Quick, get your caps now. This is your last chance.
Breaking news.
Last chance
The
for caps.
McLaren commercial department love this interview.
They've
Don't
got
do
their
that.
hands
I can
in
say
their
what I
head.
want.
You can.
I can say whatever I want.
These are your
What are you going to
facts.
do, Harry?
Alternative.
Harry in the background with his head in his hands.
These are your alternative facts now. It's a conspiracy. What do we
I'm not
do?
retiring, guys. I've got a contract for many more years, all right? So
Too late. We've already.
I may have
we're
thrown
already-
Zach's in the
we're-
back
we're
being
already
like,
stopped.
pardon?
Lando,
Breaking
thank you
news.
for
No
your
worries.
time.
Thanks, guys.
And good luck for this season. We are so excited to see what happens.
I'm excited for next year's interview already.
Oh,
Come
good.
back before then,
Yeah, we're
please.
going to be
Okay.
getting you
Well,
on
Well, it's going to be your
during
exit
the season.
interview next Tuesday. That's it. We'll see
It's
you
been a
then.
pleasure.
Lando Norris is not retiring. Don't break us. Thank you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Lando Norris. Greg, what did we think?
I love the boy.
I love him, do you?
I think he's amazing. He's fun. He's so fun. He's relaxed. He was talking about Craig David. He even announced his retirement.
His haircut. He was open about the mullet situation.
Yeah.
He was on good form.
You got a lovely question at the end where he got quite serious.
Yeah.
He talked about conspiracy theories. Talked about people walking up to him in Finnish supermarkets and all the rest of it. It was great. I love catching up with him, and he is going to have an incredible season if the car's good.
I think the car will be good, and also I think Lando will be good. He mentioned, and I was really pleased he did. He was like the final third of the season. He said something changed. I'd never heard him say that, but in my head something had changed, and Abu Dhabi was the pinnacle of that, really, where we sat and watched it, and I just thought he's not losing this race. And I think if he can take the Abu Dhabi Lando into this new season, he's going to be a formidable title contender to be that Max, be that the Ferraris, whoever's up there. But we're going into the most exciting open season in years, and I think Lando and Oscar can be right up there. There's no reason with both of them why they can't.
Yeah.
I am so excited for this season. I feel like it's the first time that we are going into the season and we don't know what's going to happen. We have no idea, but we just know that
So wide
there's
open.
so many good teams with so many good drivers.
Should have started this podcast this year.
Yes.
Because we had a good one eventually last year and a one to begin with.
Yeah.
First year, terrible. Worst year to start a
Terrible
Formula
season.
1 podcast in a long time. But hey,
But we survived.
We're here.
We're here again.
we drove, we survived, year 3, and we're here, and we're back here.
We drove, we survived, and we're here. You were trying to do a drive to
That
survive
was,
thing.
yeah,
It
it
didn't
didn't
work.
quite work.
We drove.
Well, they're picking up on that. It didn't quite work.
We drove, we survived, and we are here. Okay.
And we
But we're
loathe
coming-
to be here.
We're coming back here, aren't we?
Very soon.
Well, very soon, yeah.
We will be back very soon with another episode of The Fast and the Curious with some big guests, Greg James. Would you like to know who's on the podcast?
Oh, I know, but do you want me to, yeah, I wonder who.
Go on,
Thank
say-
you.
say it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I say?
Yes.
Jensen Button,
Jensen Button, one of the first people we ever recorded for the podcast.
Alex.
Back on the podcast.
Alex Albon, and
Hang on, before you say, this is comfortably the most requested person who had never been on the podcast, driver-wise, who we are bringing on. We've had more DMs for this person than anyone else.
And we've never spoken to him before on the podcast.
Not on the podcast, we're not, no.
no,
So,
and the Dan Fallows. Oh, sorry, and Carlos Sainz.
If you don't get that from last year, look it up. Look it
oh,
up.
Yeah, Carlos is on.
Carlos Sainz!
All right.
Carlos Sainz will be on the next episode of The Fast and the Curious. If you want to get in touch, we are on all the socials. We are Fast Curious Pod.
I wish that car would be more considerate and be like, Jesus, they're trying to record a podcast. I'm going to keep it down.
One important thing to say before we go, episodes could pop up at any time this year. Make sure you hit follow or like or subscribe. If you're not watching us, we are on YouTube as well. Episodes could pop up at any time. And if you subscribe, you get a lovely little notification, don't you?
Nice.
And I always get excited when it says there's a new Fast and Curious, even though I know, because I've recorded it.
And uploaded it.
Well, that didn't last year, but yeah,
Well,
fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
What you've done there is you've made it sound like we don't have a plan. You say, oh, the episodes will pop up,
We
whenever.
have a very good plan. We're
But-
going to preview Grand Prix and we're going to debrief Grand Prix.
Yeah, but then if a driver announces he's retiring or leaving, we do an emergency episode.
Like
Lando. When Lando confirms the retirement he's just announced.
We'll do that big exclusive interview
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been lovely to hang out with you too.
It's a bit cold, isn't it?
It's cold. Let's
Should
wrap this up. But thank you for watching and being back with us this year. As my esteemed colleague just said, make sure you're liking and subscribing, and we'll be back with a Williams special next.
Don't say it too loudly because there's McLaren people around here still.
Oh yeah.
Get quite cross with this.
Oh, get over yourselves.
Bye then.